Welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandi Hofer. Thank you so much for being here today. I sure do appreciate it. I'm actually going to do just a quick little solo episode here, coming off of coming home from NYC, which many of you have heard the story before, of how I got to New York very last minute in my life. I feel like I'm planning 2 years in advance at this point, since I decided to shift my practice. So let's start there. Let's talk about why I that's 3 words in one. That's a new record for me. Usually it's just 2. So why I decided to shift my whole studio practice. And that was because making a painting and then selling it, and then making another painting and selling it, and figuring out that people loved my work and wanted their own piece of what I do was amazing. It was such a good feeling. But then, and I'm going to be really transparent about finances because I wish more people were, especially when it comes to artwork, because I never want to make someone feel bad like I've got it all figured out, because I don't. I'm learning new things every day, and I'm trying new things so much. And like my friend Shannon, Amy says, and you can catch her on the podcast. Speaking of finances, it was such a good episode. She said to me like years ago, and it's a saying I've heard before, except my grandpa used to say it. He said, you throw a bunch of things at a barn door and some of it sticks. And Shannon says, if you throw a bunch of spaghetti at a wall, you just got to see what sticks. So I'm always doing that, and always, challenging myself in new ways and seeing what I like and dislike. And after creating work and seeing that people wanted it, which is great, but being so burnt out and like starting to hate drawing portraits, like that's pretty bad. That's not good. That's abusing my magic. And when we speak about creativity is pure magic. It's a part of, if you believe in souls, it's a part of your soul coming out and describing itself in color to the world. It's such a beautiful thing, and I was really abusing my gift and my magic. I wasn't honoring it, and I was so tired. And yeah, I still sometimes like portraits, and I should not feel that way. And that was, after years and years of doing that. So I decided to try and shift my practice and express myself in different ways. So still creating, but through the written word, which I've been thoroughly enjoying so much. And now it's like a very useful skill. I can tell you, creatives, one of the most useful tools is learning how to write and describe yourself. I'll never forget, I think it was on Austin Kleon said on a podcast, and he was quoting a poet, and the poet said, I've made more money talking about poetry than actually making poetry. And it's true. I've made more money talking about making art and showing people about art than the art itself. Maybe. Actually, no, that can't be true, because no, it can't be true. But eventually, I think it will be true with how I've shifted my practice. Because obviously I have 16, 17 years of just creating art. So there's no way, right? And when you think of murals, those are insanely lots of big dollars all at once. So, but I expect in the next few years that talking about and showing people my passion and showing them how to connect to their creativity will far surpass the amount I made as a creative just painting a painting and selling the painting. So, and most of you know what I did. I started the podcast, Color Me Happy, which you're listening to right now, so you know what that is, right? I also started a community, so the Color Me Happy community. It's free to join. And I did prints on Amazon. That didn't work. That was a lot. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. And that didn't stick. I still do fine art prints, and like sticking to a fine artist, I couldn't compete with high demand printing, right? Which was on Amazon. I'm sure if I spent more time, but I wasn't willing to spend more than the 2 years I had already spent trying to figure it out. I have friends who make boatloads selling prints on Amazon, but they got on there like 6 or 7 years ago. So they developed a presence. And I you know what? Amazon's a whole double podcast in itself on how it works. And I'm so glad I did that Amazon stuff, because it was like a building block to the foundation of my book. Like and my life. Like, it was a lesson. There were so many lessons in it. And now I know how it works in order to get my book to have reviews and ratings and all that stuff, in order for my book to actually sell. So it'll be a very useful tool once it's freaking done. I'm trying to be patient, but like, it's the editing process. So like, it's beyond my personal control, which is so hard for me because I'm a do-it-yourselfer, like, do everything. Because when it came to my shift, I edit the video, I edit the sound, I edit all that stuff because I have this vision in my mind. It's another way of creating. So that was really fun. It was a really great outlet to express myself. And then the classes have been so great. And again, transparency with finances. The classes are really great, sustainable, passive income for me. I would encourage anyone to see what they can offer online, because once you do the work, it's a bit of work, and it was hard to, talk into a camera and then, think about B-roll and voiceover and sound and transitions and all that stuff. But once that all happens, and then you market it. So I have a marketing woman who I work with. And once we market it, it's like, every day I sell classes, and it feels so fucking good. And I was just in New York, and I was talking and visiting with a lot of my friends who I met through the Art Queens. So Victoria J. Fry and Juliana Knoffel, sorry, is that how you say your last name, Juliana? I'm not sure. And so many amazing women. Alicia Puig, the co-founder of PXP, who I went to New York with. And so, we all went for a bite to eat. And Kat said, Brandi, so she does one-on-one mentorship and coaching, and she does so much. And she's the reason why I've tried a lot of new things, because she did say, creating one piece of artwork is just not sustainable. It does work for some, but it hasn't worked for me so far. And I gave it a good fucking chance, if we're being honest. And I'm not going to stop. I was painting all day today. I was working on custom artwork. It's not like I quit that. I just do it less and for more money. And I'm working on some large scale pieces that are for absolutely nothing. They're for me, which feels really, really good. So I'm never going to stop painting. And collaborating and doing fun stuff. These two big ones I'm working on right now, my friend Shauna Okimawa is going to come do some Indigenous beadworking on it, and I'm so freaking excited. It'll be amazing. Okay, off topic. Kat said to me, she said she had heard so many good reviews from my portrait class, and really beautiful things, that it was just like the push I needed. And I've had about 4 other classes that I want to do. I just haven't found the time to do them all. And So that was like the push and encouragement that I needed to be like, yes, let's hammer these out, or at least get one out this year and then one out in the spring again. I did do a mural course, but the Milan Institute bought it, so it will be available through them soon. That's the one I did in the spring, but my portrait class was doing really well, so I didn't want to throw out a mural course just to confuse everyone. One thing at a time. I'm a very good multitasker, and the great thing about multitasking is that you're not super, and this, I give this advice all the time because creatives always get stuck there. Like, how do I get over this block? Never work on just one thing. Always have, have your irons in more than one fire. Same goes for finances. Same goes for creativity. Never depend solely on one thing. It puts way too much pressure on that one thing, and then you squeeze it way too tight. And it's just this, it was advice I got in university. I was stuck on this painting and I sat for like weeks trying to figure out this one freaking painting. And he was like, the next time I come into this studio space, I want at least 8 more paintings up. I was like, 8? You crazy, man. Like, that is nuts. 8? Okay. And because I'm super type A, like I need to, when a superior's like, you need to do something, I'm like, I'm going to show you and I'm going to do it better. So I did. I had 11 by the time he came back into that was Mark, what was my professor's name? Mark. He was from Alberta too, and he was at Naskeddon University. It was I messaged him again. I remembered his name and messaged him thanking him because it is one of the most useful tools I've found as a creative and actually I have no choice at this point to work this way because I have children. So I only have, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour, to do anything. So I have several things on the go all at once. And it helps that I was in the hospitality industry and I'm the ultimate multitasker. But I think it's a skill that you can really hone and get better at as the years go by. Once you start, your brain just catches on. You're smart. You can do anything you set your mind to. Okay, so, it's 3:00, almost after school. I will have to go soon. Okay, so I was watching Marcel the Shell with shoes. It's so good. Oh my gosh, you guys have to watch it. I want to show it to everyone because I cannot explain why it's funny. It's just something you have to see yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. Go see Marcel the Shell with shoes. Don't see it. You can rent it or buy it or watch him on YouTube, I think. It's originally a YouTube sensation, I think. I didn't do a lot of research. Anyways, I was watching it with my family, and he quotes Wayne Gretzky, but he can't get Wayne Gretzky's name right. And he calls him Wade Jetsky. Anyway, you have to see it for it to be really hilarious. And he was walking on the wall with honey, and he starts sliding down while he's trying to pronounce Wayne Gretzky's name. Anyway, okay, so he quotes him, and he says, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And I'm sure this has been used to death, but I do love it because that is the whole reason I last minute went, and the whole theme of this podcast was New York. I had actually asked to go to an art fair. I had always envisioned myself with these women at an art fair, not really super consciously, in the sense that I was manifesting it. I just always saw the photos and the videos, and I was I really want to do that. So then one day I just took a shot. And I call this in my book, Be Brave Days. It was on a Be Brave Day. So those days where like the sun's shining, you feel good, you can do anything. We don't have those very often. We don't have those every day. So when you do, you take advantage of it and you squeeze like every possible thing and moment and question and ambition and things you've been putting off into this very brave day, and you go for it. So it was on one of my Be Brave days, and I messaged Alicia, and your Be Brave things will not look the same as mine. Everyone's is different. You know, when you write your goals out for the year, you have some of them in there, or things you think about, or things you've been putting off. So I was like, oh, hey, Alicia, are you doing any fairs in 2024? 2024 being key. I feel like I'll be ready then because I'm so freaking busy and going to cry already. And then she was like, yeah, sure, I'll keep you in mind, like super polite about it because she's so polite and so professional and amazing. And I was like, okay, that was like a brush off for sure. And then 2 days later, she messaged me, you ask and you shall receive. And she had gotten an extra wall at the Affordable Art Fair at New York City. And this was actually, and I don't want to, talk about something that isn't my story to tell because it's her experience of what happened and how she got invited. And I know it was a very big leap for her too, as well, to go to the Affordable Art Fair in New York. And so the gallerist next to her, would you like to share this wall? Do you have extra art to show on it? And she said, yes, why, yes, I do. She asked me, I said 1000%, and my art will be there. My art will be there, but I'm not sure if I can because I have art academy starting. I'm a full-time parent. It costs a bunch of money to stay and fly to New York. Let me just get back to you. I really, 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 really want to go. And so I couldn't go because I didn't have the funds. And here again, I'm being really honest. I had to invest in a new MacBook and a new phone for creating those classes. So I did my one class. My friend shot it with her gear. So that, like, the cost was, getting her to do it and cut it. So because my old computer was fucking spinning out and like super slow, and I knew I couldn't cut it on there because I would just die in frustration. I do know how to cut and edit, and it's super time consuming, but Kristen Hickman teamed up with me for the portrait class. And if you can't take the load on of something, collaborate. If you've got a lot going on, collaborate. It's always better, for the most part. I mean, you have to collaborate. Kristen's the most beautiful woman soul I've ever met. So she's special. So collaborate with people who give you good feelings. That's what you do. So it was just like a magical thing that happened because it was very organic. It was not planned. And we made this beautiful portrait class and together. And that's why people love it so much, is because it's full of magic. And her daughter's making those works for the first time. Kristen making that work for the first time. And then she got to use her videography skills and photography skills and put it together. That's why it was beautiful. So all of a sudden, my friend Jessie Delquist, she's an amazing artist. Check her out. She's on the podcast too. And she is just great. And this is, again, collaboration. I gifted her the class because she bought the Getting Creative with Kids class that I do. And she's like, I didn't want to get the portrait class because I'm already a portrait artist. And so she's like, I got that figured. And I was like, I think you'll actually really, really like it, even though you've been already doing portraiture forever. And you're very good at it. I'm not saying you're not, but I think you'll like some of the techniques that we use. And you can use them in your practice. So she fell in love with my tricks, and she shared it in this really great video. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. She shared it, and the class went nuts. And long story shorter, I got to go to New York because of my beautiful friend Jessie and her kindness and generosity in sharing that. I didn't expect it. I gifted it to her out of the kindness of my heart because I thought she would love it and use it. And it just was all meant to happen. So then I messaged Alicia and I said, I'm coming. I booked my ticket. I'm coming. And it's hard to talk about New York because it went so fast. But I met so many amazing women who I felt like I just knew already, and it was like we were just going out for another dinner or walking the streets together on another day that we did all the time. And so I feel like it was a moment in time and I was meant to be there. So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That was that. I totally slayed my Be Brave Day. And sometimes I ask for so many things on a Be Brave Day I forget. So that means you don't have, again, all your irons in different fires, and in a good way, because some things work. Some things work so well. And this did. It was such a beautiful experience. And Juliana took me around the streets every day. She'd just message me and she'd be like, "Where are you? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm ready to walk around with you and eat good food." I saw so much great art, and it was such a beautiful experience. And Juliana was like, we just constantly laughed and almost cried the whole time while we were together. And I'm going to read you what I wrote in the airport at 6 a.m. because I had to get it out. I was feeling all the feelings, and the sun was rising, and it was really, really cool. So I'm going to quote Glennon Doyle, and she says that there is no map. We are all pioneers. This is just the beginning. Well, friends, as I sit here on a bustling cab ride on the way to the airport, I watch the sunrise peek over the horizon on the New York City skyline. Tears well in the bottom of my eyes. Goodbye, New York. This won't be the last time. I met so many new faces who I connected with, and they all messaged me later saying they would catch me next time I was in the city. And every time I thought, it took all of my might to get here. It took all of my might to get to this point in my life. A jet-setting artist? Next time feels like such an absurd concept. Like I'll just pop over to NYC at the drop of a hat or something. I met a woman who I've been working with and connecting with online for years. I met women. Most of which are a part of the group called the Art Queens, founded by Katerina Popova, a fellow artist and entrepreneur. Juliana Knopfel and her beautiful soul patiently walked me through the bustling streets of the city. She was caring, careful and sensitive as she did. I'm not sure what I did to deserve her time, but she made my time in NYC the most memorable experience. She expressed to me the importance of why I was here. I was not just here for myself or my art. I was here for all of the women and the mother artists. I was here to show them that they can too accomplish anything they desire deep in their hearts, and that they can too pursue their passions in all of their forms. I took a brave leap. There is no map. We are all pioneers. I am. You are. All our paths overlapping and paving new. Meeting these women was an out-of-body experience. I was in a constant state of shock, while at the same time I felt like I had known them for most of my life and everything just fit. How did I find myself here? I had seen myself prior to this event, me standing with these women, celebrating creativity and abundance. And this was finally it. The precipice of my thoughts, motivation, and goals. It was an extraordinary moment. But all the while this nagging occurred. This cannot be all. Katerina, or most of us call her Kat, messaged me later that evening. She said, "I am so proud of you. I hope you know how magical you are and how people admire you and how you light up in the room. Grateful for you, and it's just the beginning." A path that I have lit for myself and so many others. It took so much more and all of me to get here. But it is not the end. No, it's really just the beginning.